Okay, welcome everyone to the sixth session of reporting tools. In this particular session, we're introducing Microsoft Excel as one of the most important reporting tools. Any report without facts and figures and without visualization is incomplete. And as they say, if you have to know your business, you'll have to know your Excel. It's a wonderful tool to do it, play with the data from organizational perspective. These days we have many more tools like Tableau has come up as one of the great visualization tool. But mind you, Tableau has could take up only one aspect of Microsoft Excel, that is called the pivot table. So it's a huge software to understand. Now, one of the basic problems that we face, uh, primarily from the interviews perspective, is uh, to answer some basic questions that will be asked. See, 90% time in an interview scenario, we may not get a chance to sit in Excel and really show our skills. Many a time it is the Q&A that will decide that how we know our Excel. And it will all start with the basic. So in this phase, we are discussing some basic questions that we encounter in a typical Excel interview. And many a time the complaint is this, that give me the Excel, give me the data, I will do, but answering this question sometimes becomes difficult for us to understand. So with the process of answering this question, we'll try to understand the interface, uh, to have a second look at the interface. So let us come to the first basic questions that are asked. So the first question that will be asked, what we call is, what is Microsoft Excel? The pure and technical answer should be, it's a spreadsheet. So when we talk about a spreadsheet, it consists of rows and columns, and Excel is a workbook, right? The file that we create is a book that present will consist of more than one worksheet. So the spreadsheets that we talk about and obviously used for calculation. Now the second question is a tricky question in the continuation, that what referencing style you have worked so far. Now we are stuck. Exactly, we should be able to answer this as an Excel professional who is willing to make a career in data and analysis. Now, if you look at this particular interface very clearly, uh, you will see we're looking at the columns as numbers, and we are not really familiar with this one, right? Maybe many of us, maybe, but right now it is looking a bit different than the normal Excel sheet that we see. This particular style is called the R1C1 referring style. So if we're into some kind of technical stuffs, you know, this particular referencing style is used. So the point here is Excel do not work only in one format. It has got two formats to work on, and absolutely it is choice to work on these two formats. So what are these two formats? The two formats, one format we call the R1C1 format, and second format we call the A1 format. So we'll understand about the A1 format right now. We're going back to you. Why it is called this particular format that we're looking at, it is called R1C1 format, that is row 1, column 1. Because if you click on the first cell, you see, if you click on the first cell and you look at the name box, it is showing R1C1. So it is telling you you are at the row 1 and column 1. Like that, you click anywhere. Right now it is saying you are into row 13 and column 10. It's one of the, once you become comfortable, this particular format is much easier than the conventional format that you use. The first question first is how to go back to that particular format that we are familiar with, that is called the A1 referencing style. So to do that, we'll have to click on the file, right? In the file, I'll click on the more, or directly if option out there, we click on the option, right? This particular customizing tool appear. Here I go to the formula, and you see it has selected the R1C1 reference style. I deselect it, I click OK, bingo, I am back to my, so normally this is A1 referencing style, which we click in the first cell and you look at the name box, it is showing A1. Means here now we are familiar with our columns will be represented by alphabets, our rows will be represented by number. Now, what is a ribbon? Ribbon is introduced this particular aspect, that the interface, this is the base of any Excel, is the ribbon, where you find everything and anything that we are talking about. All right. Third thing they are talking about, what is a cell and how cell reference is useful in the calculation. Now, typically what we talk about a cell is an intersection of the rows and the columns. But technically, cell is a reference. cell is a reference, and that's what is the most important. You click anywhere, it's a reference to its column, it's a reference to your row. That's how we identify a particular cell. And remember, one cell is absolutely independent than other cell, right? These are unique things. In computer lingo, if you talk about, you can consider them as variables, and the data that we put inside are the constant. But now, how to know which cell we are in? If we click anywhere, you see you get the information in the name box, that is, you're in the E column, 12th row. So the reference in Excel is a two-dimensional aspect. We identify a particular cell, also we call that the cell address, by its reference to its column and reference to its row, and that makes the whole world of Microsoft Excel. So cell is a reference, all right? Okay. And it is useful because that these references we use in the calculations and developing beautiful mathematical model. So now the next question comes, it's a very interesting question. How many sheets can be created in Excel? Now, there is no limit of creating sheets in Microsoft Excel. You can create as many as you want, but absolutely that will depend on the power of the computer that you are using, power of the RAM that you are using. So if you are not using too many other softwares, you are using Excel primarily, you may go up to 2000, 3000, 4000 sheets also. But you are using other softwares and you are having too many data in Excel, it can be 400, 500. Point is that there is no limit to the number of sheets that you create in Excel. That will absolutely depend on the power of your computer. To get a great computer, if you really work on multiple sheets, right? And how many rows and columns are there in Excel? Now, rows and columns, when you are talking about, in terms of columns, we have around 16,400 columns that we have, and in terms of rows, almost we have 10 lakh, around 10 lakh 40,000 odd columns we have. That you can always find out by Control Shift. You go to the page down, you see 10,48546 columns are there, and rows are similarly, you will have what we say is around 16,000 rows you have. That's enough data to have. Okay, so now let us move on. The next question, what is the name box in Excel? What is the quick way to return to a particular area of the worksheet? Name box tells you the cell reference. That is the main point, or a range. So now, right now, this particular cell is active. I know I am at E12. Now, the interesting factor, another factor, if I know a particular cell, I really want to go to that particular cell. I can type here D23, press enter, it will take me to D23. So if I really wish to go to a particular cell quickly, I simply type A1, press enter, it will take me to A1. So that's one way of moving around from one point of an Excel sheet to another point of Excel sheet. For that, you'll have to know the cell reference. You can directly go to the cell. All right. What is the utility for it? It is here where you can write our equations. It talks about what you have in your sheet. What is the values that you have? It represents it in the formula bar area. So that becomes very important thing. Now, next thing, how can you wrap text within a cell? All right. Now, if I keep writing in a particular cell, you see it goes below the boundary of the cell. Sometimes you may not do it because that's confusing. Now, this actually remains to this cell only. Here also I can start writing in the another cell that is overlapping it, but these two are very distinct kind of things. Now, cell wrapping means to keep all the text, all the data within the boundary of the cell. It's a very simple mechanism. You select here, you come to wrap text in the home tab, you click on the wrap text, bingo. All the text there in wrapped up. So that's again an important aspect. So you do not really overlap the data of one cell to the another cell. All right. So let us move on. Let us go to the third and very important point here. If we really practice this and become habituated of doing this, that solves a lot of us a problem. That is we call naming a range. All right. Before that, specify the order of operation used for evaluating formulas in Excel. It applies the same rule as the BODMAS. It has no changes. Parenthesis will come first. Parenthesis will come first. Then comes your brackets, parenthesis will come first. Then, of course, your division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. It follows, and division and multiplication will come in the sequence. Whichever comes first will be used in Microsoft Excel. Now, what is this range? Range basically we talk about with a group of cells. All right. Now, see, when I select a group of cells, this becomes a group of cells, right? So this is called a vertical range. If I select this particular thing, this is called a group of cells. This is a horizontal range. Or if I select this area, this is called an two-dimensional range. What is the utility of a range? Because the range helps us. Now, suppose if I have to add this for five numbers, only five numbers, what I can do is click I can click in this one, then add a plus button. I can click in this one, then I get a plus button. I can write it also. I click in this one, I write a plus button. I click this one, and I press enter. Therefore, the addition has happened. The second way I could have done is I put the sum function. As you know, I simply select the 4. Once I select the 4, you see the same thing, C4 colon C7. That means we are adding up C4 to C7. So that's what a range is. The range actually specifies by the first and the last cell of the range. Now, selecting range sometimes become very difficult. So you have to sum up everything of the sales value. What I'll have to do, I'll have to click sum. Then I start the bracket. I click in the first one. Then I do Control Shift down arrow. I go to the last one. All right, then I formula bar come, I close it, I press enter, summation has happened. Right, now this sometimes becomes botheration if your data is too long. You have to select. The better way of doing it is give your range a name. Right, so to give a range a name, see what I am doing. I won't select the heading for sure. Remember that you cannot select headings. You select it, you come down to this. Now, two ways of doing it. All right, two ways of doing it. You can go to the formula bar here. You can go to the formula bar, and in formula bar there comes the define name. You click on define name and you click on define name, and in this case we have given its name as sales. By default it has taken its sales. You can give any other name. I click OK. All right, now see when you do the selection, look at the name box. It is saying as sales. The point is, what is the benefit really? The benefit is, now really I need not go and select the whole range. I type sum. Let me expand it so that you guys can see it betterly. Now see, because I have already created a range, so this will now do wonders to me. All right, so anywhere I come, I forget about where the range is because I know the range name. I type sum, then I start. I should know the range name. I type as, you see the sales has appeared at top. I select on sales, I click it, press enter, bingo. I need not bother about the range. Same, if you want to create average, I type average. Again, I type as, the sales will come, and enter. All right. So once it is done, this is also important that I need to remove it. I need to remove it also. I'll have to remove because this may create confusions. To remove the range that I have created when the job is done, it's important. Again, I'll go to the formula bar. I'll click in the name manager. In the name manager, you see there is a range has been created. You select the range, you delete, it's gone. Now you cannot create it. The second way of creating range is you select everything again. Once you select everything, rather than going through the whole pane of formula, you simply type here sales. All right, the sales has been created. In the name box, you type sales, sales has been created. You can understand it by look at the name manager. Again, the sale has come. You select it, you delete it. So this one practice that every professional should follow. It actually nothing but it makes our, once you deleted the range, you see it becomes invalid. So if you want to keep it, you'll have to keep it. All right. So let us move on to the next two important question. Can you only copy and paste values but not the reference in the Excel? What we are talking about here is, now see, this is a unit price, this is a quantity, and formula has been applied. The formula is simple, this into this, so the formula has been applied. Now what they are asking is, now I want only this value to be shown at somewhere. But if I control C it, copy it, and I paste it here, it gives me 0. Because when we use a formula and when we copy it, Excel only copies the formula. So the formula is, how do I know what formula you're using? You click in the cell, you see the formula bus has come. B9 into C9 is the formula. And we are writing it in the D9. So when I copy it into G9, accordingly you see it has changed. It has become E9 to F9. We'll discuss about it in detail. We call it the relative references. So whenever a formula used and I copy it, Excel normally do not copy the formula, it do not copy the value, it copies the formula, and that creates a problem. So if we really want to copy the value, not the formula, we can do it. Right now I right click and select it, right? Okay, again I make a copy of it. Remember, first I copy it. I copied it. This dancing borders will say that I've copied it. This is another representation. This dancing borders will have to that it has been copied. Now I wherever I want to paste it, I again here right click it. Now I come to this wonderful feature we call paste special. I click on space special, then I click on values, not the formulas. Right? Bingo. Only the values has been created. Now you select it, cut to the formula bar, only value has been displayed. And I mind you, this particular thing can do more than this. Space special becomes sometimes very utility for us. Now I have created this particular document, but my boss is not happy with this particular document. He says that put the product in the rows and the unit price in the columns. So reorient it, convert the rows into columns and columns into rows. I need not worry if I enter Excel. I simply select it, I control C, I copy it, I click anywhere, I right click, again I come to the paste special. Now one option there is called transpose. I click on transpose, I click OK. You see your rows has been converted to column and columns has been converted to rows. Now we can do more to it. We can create a link of the data to anywhere else, right? Now suppose I have selected this particular data and I copied it into another sheet. Now what I want actually, whatever changes I make in the first sheet, same changes should happen in the second link. So set that we will have to click on the paste link. Now the link has been pasted. Now see this. This is a link that has been pasted and original source is this particular data. Now at the top in the apple I write juice. Alright. Now you see in the I have wrote juice here. I made certain changes in this particular thing juice. Now let us go and shoot it the new sheet. Bingo, it has become juice. From here if I make changes, sources there no changes will be affected. So that's a one directional thing I do. Very important feature of the paste special. Alright. Now let us come to the another frequently asked question, what is fridge pane in Excel? And it's a feature needed when you deal with huge data. So let me delete it so that, so this is basically the heading that we have, and mind you, this is a huge data we have. Now if you scroll down, now if I look at this particular thing, I do not have any clue about the data because the heading has gone. So somehow I need a system where my headings remains as it is and data keep rolling up, rolling down. To do that, I select in any of the cells. Right now, this is not important, right? Right now, this is not important. Okay, so I click on anywhere in the sheet. All right. After that, what I will do is see. Just a moment, I am coming to that particular thing.